All right, what's going on, guys? Got another video today. In this one, we're just going to be doing a couple things on the Civic. I have a VTEC solenoid seal I have to install, as well as a glow shift oil pressure sensor. And I have a steel braided clutch line that we're going to throw on in this one. So I did get my AAM wideband installed, and I just placed it down in here for now. I have that wired to the pin of the secondary engine coolant temperature sensor. You can program that through the HON data, so that all works just fine. I did as well get my glow shift oil pressure gauge and my boost gauge installed and wired in, but I still have to run the connector that goes out to the sensor today. I was looking online at different gauge pod options, and they do make one that has like two pods up here, which I thought was all right, but since I already had my wideband down here, I kind of wanted them all to be in this vicinity. So I was searching around, and I actually found this little guy for around 40 or 50 bucks. It is 3D printed, and it is, to my understanding, that it clips on in a factory location somewhere around down here. But so far, with the last 2 weeks, I haven't had any issues with the exhaust, zero rattles, and I think it sounds great. So satisfied with the turnout of the exhaust. So we're gonna get the car in the shop and start tearing shit off and get to work. The Odyssey out here looking sort of fresh, minus all the parts that aren't fresh. Alright, I did get the old hard line off and all these rusty brackets. I'm making this video because I've seen some people were curious on the fitting size. So down there on the slave cylinder, I already have the fitting for that side. And then it is a tight fit, but you can kind of look right there. That's the master cylinder. And so your new fitting will thread in there. And the fitting in question is a 3N male flare to an M10 by 10 inverted flare bulkhead fitting. And it looks like this, in case you were wondering. I did finish up and get the steel braided clutch line on, and it is a really tight fit, but you can see it coming off the master cylinder there, and it routes down. This one's not meant for this car, so it is a little bit long, but nonetheless it does work. It goes right into there. My factory hard line, there wasn't anything wrong with it, but it was getting in the way of my battery relocation, and it frees up some space because I do have some things that are going to be going in here. But I did get the steel braided clutch line on. On these cars, it is shitty because they don't give you a lot of room, and it's tucked all the way back under there, but if you take the cowl off and you just kind of work with it, you'll eventually get it. All right, I got my oil pressure sensor here for the glow shift and the wire. This is the only thing that's not hooked up yet. I have it wired in already, but that just needs to get screwed into the back of the block, which I do have the car in the air. And I took the heat shield off that sits right above the oil filter. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right there, the sensor. I already have it unplugged. So I'm gonna unscrew that right there. Yeah, so I'm gonna unscrew that sensor right there and thread the glow shift oil pressure sensor in that same location. And then we'll run that back inside the car to the gauge. Also got my Deechworks fuel pump in the mail. This is the 65C pump, which is a drop-in style pump for the 8th gen. I do have numerous other pumps. I've got a 450 right here. I've got a brand new 250 sitting underneath my box over there, Walbro. And the reason I went with this one instead was because this is a plug and play application. I guess it just drops right in, same connector, same everything. And it comes with the same sock and everything. So spent the extra money, got this one. 265 liter per hour. And once again, you guys are probably still trying to put together why I'm putting things like this in the car, but just wait. Another video or two, it'll all make sense. Alright, I did get the factory sensor out, and it does have this weird kind of sensor design. I don't actually have the correct socket to take this sensor out, but I was able to make do with a deep 24. I'm sorry, this is a 25. Yeah, deep well 25. Didn't fit perfectly, but it was able to get it out. And make sure you go nice and slow with it, because you definitely do not want to break the casting that this screws into. But it is 1/8 inch pipe thread, just like most other oil pressure sensors. And we're going to go ahead and thread in the glow shift sensor now in the same location. This one does come with a bit of silicone on the threads already, but sometimes it doesn't hurt to add a little extra so you have a nice seal. I'm gonna get that threaded in really quick. So as you can see, the hole is right there. See now that I have the sensor plugged in with the connector, I have it routed over with a couple zip ties, and it just goes up right there into the main grommet into the cabin of the car. I do have to give some credit to the people who designed this piece right here. This is actually a really cool little design. It fits in there really nicely. All you do is come in and you pop this black plastic flap that's inside of there off, and it just clips right into where that went. So super handy, super easy to install. Yeah, I don't know, I like this little piece. I think it's pretty cool. So that is where all of my gauges are sitting now. I didn't actually show how I did it, just because I assume that most people aren't coming to my videos to know how to do something like that. But for the people that are curious, if there is any of you guys, drop a comment. I will definitely make a video showing how I installed all this stuff, as well as anything on the car. If there's anything that you guys are curious about, drop a comment and I will definitely show you the steps that I took to do it. Since my last video didn't have much of a sound test, I figured we'll go ahead and get another one of those. Said, I am pretty satisfied with the exhaust, considering it only cost me $80 to do the entire thing. But nonetheless, I was just getting a little update video out. There's still a lot more to come on this car. I do have some big plans coming for it very soon. So if you guys are interested on seeing any of that, definitely hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for future uploads. And nonetheless, thanks for watching.